Everyone talks about running discounts and cranking up ad spend during Black Friday, but very few actually know how to engineer a system that doubles your revenue without killing your margins every single Q4. I've helped many e-commerce brands hit 6 and even 7-figure Black Friday weekends just by using a proven framework of Facebook ads, CRO, and email and SMS marketing. No guesswork, no chasing trends. This isn't theory, this is a repeatable system. In this video, I'll break down how we structure Black Friday campaigns step by step, from prepping your offers, warming your list, to scaling your ads profitably. And at the end, I'll walk you through the exact breakdown of how we took a brand from barely breaking even before Black Friday to pulling in over $900,000 in a single month while keeping profit margins intact. So let's get right into the video. The first thing I want to talk about is how to build and stack irresistible offers, because in Q4, the offers carry the load, not the ads. So there's a few ways you can go about this. First of all, I want you to choose a core hero offer you could run for the entire month of November. And this doesn't mean that you have to run the same offer for the whole month, but you want something irresistible that can perform all month long if you wanted to. Then what you should do is you should always have 1 or 2 backup offers ready just in case the first offer starts to fatigue or for whatever reason you launch it and this doesn't work. And really when it comes to your offer strategy, you have 2 main options. The first one is you build that irresistible offer and you run it all month long, or you stack offers at different times. And I'm going to give you an example of that right now. So let's just say you start your Black Friday sale around November 13th with early access. It's a small percentage off, framed as exclusivity with guaranteed shipping. Then comes your core Black Friday offer where you switch the offer to the biggest, the clearest deal, and it's a simple percentage off. Then when Cyber Monday rolls around, you twist it, right? You have bundles, free gift, or product drop, right? Something different than what you had before. And then as you move from November into December, you can change it again to be more last chance holiday gifting angle, where there's urgency tied to shipping deadlines. Now, of course, this is just an example and not an actual structure that you should go and apply right now, but it just shows how you can be a little bit creative with the way you change different offers. Now, both of these options can work, but in my experience, if you don't have a lot of data around what worked for you in previous Black Fridays, maybe you're quite a new brand, then I wouldn't risk it with a bunch of different types of offers. It just increases the margin for error. And instead, I would choose one offer that you're confident in, something that's like ideally has been working so far this year. Maybe you make it like a little bit of a better deal, and then you just run that for pretty much your entire Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaign. Now, if you're a brand that's been around for a while and you know that your customers react very well to maybe different types of offers, like multiple offers, like sometimes they react very well to bundle offers, sometimes they react better to site-wide discounts, then you might want to play with both of those variables or whatever variables you have at your disposal during the month of November and even into December. Just one thing to keep in mind with that strategy, if you're running ads that show a specific offer, and I would recommend that you do that, if you then pause that offer, if you've been running that for the month of November, but you pause it right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the momentum that you have of those ads working and performing well and scaling is going to be lost, right? So I always like to go with just something simpler, something that we could run for the full month, that we can build a lot of momentum. And if anything, we're just layering things in on top that can sweeten the deal. So that was step 1 about building and stacking irresistible offers. Super, super important that you get that right. The second thing I want to speak about is how to engineer Facebook ads around desire. Ads don't sell features. They sell who your customer becomes. So here's exactly how to engineer ads though. So here's exactly how to make ads that appeal to those core desires so you can build winning ads ahead of Black Friday, ahead of Q4, and so you can build those winning ads ahead of Black Friday, be prepared, and also be confident that these ads are actually going to work, okay? So the first thing is you should research core human desires, things such as status, confidence, health. You should look deeper into the Life Force 8 core desires, which is really 8 desires that we have hardwired into our brains as humans. And you ideally want to appeal to 1, maximum 2 of those. And make sure to link them to your product, the benefits of the product, and then link it back to the desired outcome, okay? You also want to research trending desires. These are like holiday gifting, stress-free shopping, or think about this time of year and what's top of mind for your customers. And then what you want to do is combine these 2 human desires, trending desires together, right? And then you build creatives that call out both of those desires in the text hook and the visual hook, right? The first 3 seconds has to call those out. Then you run creative sprints. So you test 3 to 5 core angles. The angle is the overarching idea of the ad itself. You test 5 to 10 ads per angle to make sure that you're giving that angle enough of an opportunity to perform. And then each ad within that has 3 to 4 variations with different hooks. Then once you test those ads, what you do is you double down on the angles that perform the best, you scale the winners, and then you iterate on the winners and the promising losers. Why I say promising losers? Because a lot of people, they test ads, and if they don't work, they just discard them and move on. However, there's a lot of data lying in those losers. You should look at the data, the hook rates, the hold rates, the engagement graphs, if they're, obviously if they're videos, if they're images, focusing on the outbound CTR. And if there's promising signs there in some of the metrics, but just something is missing, then you create an iteration, right? You create a new version of that ad, making some changes with the hypothesis as to why you think it didn't perform and why the change you made is going to allow it to perform better. So I'll give you an example. A text hook could be the perfect gift for moms that sells out every year. The visual hook is a UGC unboxing moment at the dinner table. And just to give an example from one of our clients, by leveraging this strategy, we took them from unprofitable to profitable months by shifting creative angle from product features to appealing to the person the customer wants to become. And this is so important. No one buys your product for the product. They buy it because of they buy it because of the person that they're going to become or the desire that they're going to fulfill in the future. So we spoke about engineering Facebook ads around desires. Now let's talk about the third step, which is optimizing creatives and landing pages for conversion. And this is so important. Ads are expensive, right? CRO multiplies your ROI, and you have to be pulling these different levers, right? So what are the levers on the CRO side itself? Well, you want your page speed under 2 seconds, right? That's like non-negotiable. You want offer clarity. No cryptic percentage math, none of that stuff. Show the savings in an extremely clear way. You want to make it as easy as possible for the customer to understand what you're trying to give them, and obviously make it easy for them to purchase. Okay, that's just going to make the conversion path a lot more seamless. Now, another lever that you can pull when it comes to conversion optimization is your average order value, right? A higher average order value is going to make it easier for you to acquire new customers with first order profitability. And this is huge, especially during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, where so many brands, they structure these offers and their funnel doesn't work for them to be profitable. They end up being unprofitable in the month of November. They generate a bunch of revenue, but it's unprofitable. And to me, you should be optimizing for that first order profitability unless you have very, very strong lifetime value to CAC ratio and you're playing that game, in which case, by all means, right? But the reality for most brands is that you need to be profitable on first order, right? So increasing your average order value is going to help with that. So what do? You can do tiered discounts. The more you buy, the more you save. You could bundle products together with quantity breaks, with pre-made bundles, starter kits. And you could also do post-purchase upsells, right? That's just going to help you just bump up that average order value after someone's actually already made a purchase. The next thing you could do is use urgency. And urgency is time-based. It gives people a reason to buy now. So countdown timers, which match the offer phases, if that's the strategy you're going for, is a great way to use urgency. And you could also just say that the deal is limited time, right? Now, I wouldn't recommend having a countdown timer that is not actually real, but instead just having some time urgency that the offer is not going to be around forever, basically. And last point here, landing pages are optional. If you send traffic directly to a PDP or collections page, it also works, right? Consumer demand is so high at this point in the year that you don't really need a lot of landing pages in education. Now, my recommendation is that you do use landing pages for your less aware stages of your market. So people who are problem aware and solution aware. People who are product aware, they don't need landing pages. Send them directly to the PDP. You likely have a ton of people in your funnel throughout the whole year. A lot of them are going to convert in November and December. So make sure to retarget them and get those people directly to your PDP or collections page to make that purchase, right? Now, if you need to educate new traffic, if people haven't seen your brand before, yes, even if you have a great deal, it's more likely that they will purchase, but it's not a given. So you still want to be leveraging the same strategies of what you would do throughout the rest of the year. So use landing pages, right? Use listicles, use inverted PDPs. And really, really important, guys, you want to make sure there's congruency between your ad and the landing page or the destination, right? That's so important. Of course, talking about the same offer. Someone sees 30% off in the ad, and then they get to your website or landing page and they see 15% off. There's a mismatch, right? You're gonna lose a ton of conversions. So things just simple as this. Just make sure it's congruent. Make sure things match. And to give an example, so a brand of ours added urgency banners to the top of their page and also repeated the offer on every page of their website, including the checkout. And the result was that the conversion rate jumped 62%, leading to a 3x profit without extra ad spend. And these are the things that most people miss out. They think, okay, we launched the offer on the website, we create some Facebook ads, cool. And yeah, maybe they have a good Black Friday. But if you want to have a record-breaking Black Friday, one that outperforms your previous years and completely changes, if you've had, a tough year this year when it comes to e-commerce and, you face headwinds with things like tariffs and consumer demand, all these different things, then this is your chance to make that up, right? And really end 2025 on a high note. So make sure to note all these things down, because the smallest things, the smallest details go such a long way. And all these percentage increases in conversion rate, all these little tweaks, they're going to help massively, right? Your average order value jumps up by $5. That's actually big, right? If you're scaling your ad spend, that is huge, okay? And it could be the difference between a lot more profit versus a very thin profit margin during the month of November, okay? So let's move on to step 4, which is all about monetizing traffic with email and SMS. Now, this is something that people do not do enough of, right, throughout the year, but also when it comes to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So your ads bring in traffic, right? And a lot of the people are going to convert, but the majority aren't. And email and SMS turn that traffic into more profit, okay? Email and SMS is really your best friend during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make sure that you leverage it to its fullest potential without sacrificing your list, without sacrificing the relationships you have with your customers. Because let's face it, we all have those brands that, send emails to your inbox and it's just sale after sale after sale. And you have no relationship with that brand. You might buy from them because they're always on sale, but you have no pull or relationship to the brand itself that's making you going to want to come back and purchase again and again, and also tell your friends about it. And that's what we want to engineer when it comes to email and SMS. So it all starts before Black Friday. It starts now. You want to grow your list with high converting pop-ups. So you can do things like a micro commitment step where you ask a question before you present them with an email field to enter. You say, hey, do you want 20% off? Yes or no? Or you can even say, no, I'd rather pay full price. And what this does is it just increases the conversion rate of people who sign up for your email list, right? Because of course, people want a good deal, and that kind of, no, I don't want to pay full price is like, not many people are going to click that and actually, want to pay full price. So that's one option. Mystery discounts often work well. Also, like if you have, let's say 20% site-wide, but then you offer, hey, by the way, sign up for a mystery discount that you could get that's actually higher than our deal, right? Higher than the site-wide deal. And that is obviously going to lead to a higher opt-in rate. So when it comes to automations or flows, these are some ones that print money, and you want to make these specific changes when it comes to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So for example, the welcome flow, you should already have this in place, but you want to, in the first email, you want to tweak it so that you deliver the discount or the promotion or the offer immediately. And then you also want to tie in a little bit of brand story. Really what people are coming for, when they sign up for your list and open that first email is the discount. They want to get what they came for, right? So you want to satisfy that first and foremost. Don't hide the offer further down the email. No, front and center in the hero, make sure that's clear. If they need to use a discount code, whatever it is, make sure it's all in the hero section above the fold, right? And give them a button to go back to the website. Ideally, you auto apply the offer, the discount, whatever it is, to the checkout as well to make it easy for the customer. Other ones are browse abandon, abandoned cart, and abandoned checkout. And again, you want to have your offer present in all of these flows because again, congruency is so important during this time. And that little bit of effort to maybe make a new design, change the emails is going to lead to so much more, like higher click-through rate and of course more revenue driven from email, but also for the overall business. Then we have post-purchase and win-back flows. And what you want to do here is you want to try and get repeat purchases within the BFCM window. So a lot of times customers will come back and buy from you again a second time within Black Friday, right? Maybe they purchased from you on November 14th, but then, we've seen it a lot of times the customers will come back and buy again towards the end of November when it comes to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, especially if you kind of sweeten the deal for those existing customers. And this is a good strategy you can use where you basically acquire customers and your post-purchase flow during Black Friday, Cyber Monday says, hey, thank you for being a customer. Thank you for trusting us. We wanted to give you something as a little thank you, right? And it's maybe $20 off towards your next order, or it's an exclusive customer only bundle that is only available, for the next 3 days, okay? And that is going to drive urgency. It's going to drive purchases, and it's going to drive higher lifetime value as well. It's going to help you offset the cost of acquiring new customers during this time. Now, when it comes to email and SMS campaigns, during the BFCM weekend, you want to send at least 2 emails per day. And don't be afraid to do this. For some clients, we send 3 emails on Black Friday and on Cyber Monday. But when it comes to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, at least 2 emails per day. And the key with this is your deliverability, right? You do the work on deliverability now, right? And ideally, you've been doing it for the whole year. But what you want to do is you want to prepare your list for a higher sending volume coming in November. Now, we can go through deliverability on a different video, but super important that you set those foundations and you get that right. And also during the BFCM weekend, we send 1 SMS per day. And again, sometimes we send 2 per day, but we found that 1 SMS per day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is enough. And it just allows you to not overdo it, but also allows you to stand out in a flooded message inbox. Now, this example I'm about to give you just explains how powerful email and SMS marketing has been done right. So one client last November, they paid $1,300 for Klaviyo. They pulled $290,000 from email marketing. That's a 223x ROI. Crazy, right? Now, if you do this right, you will achieve, great ROI. And you can also use a tool like Alia to build high converting pop-ups. That's alialearn.co, I believe it is. But that allows you to build pop-ups with a lot more functionality compared to the Klaviyo builder or, perhaps whatever email service provider tool you're using. All right, we've spoken about email and SMS marketing. Now let's speak about a bonus step, which is backend systems and operational readiness. And this is the most important thing, right? Because if you run out of stock, if you have issues with delivering product, then it doesn't matter how much you prepared for your offers and your creatives and your emails, none of that matters. So make sure you get this right first, okay? So first of all, preparation, inventory forecasting, right? You want to understand how many units you're going to sell of each product. You want to use forecasts of increasing ad spend. You want to, take into account your customer acquisition cost, how much emails you're going to be sending, and put together a model for how many units you think you're going to sell, and then also have a buffer to make sure that, okay, if we actually do better than we think we do, we have a buffer for stock, okay? Trust me, like we've been in a situation where clients run out of stock before Black Friday, and it's the worst thing that can happen during BFCM. So make sure your inventory forecasting is in place. Again, you're running out of time, you have to do this right now. Depending on your lead times to get a new product, it may be quite tight, but this is high priority, okay? Fulfillment speed. Make sure that, your fulfillment on the side of pick and pack, whether you're working with a 3PL, your own warehouse, depending on the product itself, do you have maybe more like a custom product or a product that has longer lead times? All these things take into account because, again, you want your fulfillment speed to be as fast as possible. So make sure you have enough stock, right? First and foremost, make sure you have enough team members to fulfill a higher volume of orders. You can hire staff flexibly for the month of November and December, just to be there to be able to fulfill, pick and pack and ship orders faster. And of course, make sure your shipping partners are in line that, hey, we're going to be increasing volume, so we want to make sure that you can handle it, right? Same thing goes for your support team, your customer support, right? You're going to get an increased amount of tickets during this time. So make sure that you have enough reps, and even, you could build something related to AI to handle these tickets for you. But you just want to make sure that you give your customers a good experience, because the last thing you want to do is, yes, have a very successful Q4 or November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday in terms of revenue and profit, but your customer experience really declined and you're going to get a lot of bad reviews, okay? So you want to balance those elements. And of course, site stability. It goes without saying, but we've all seen, those websites that crash during Black Friday, and it's just, it's a nightmare. So if you're on Shopify, you're good. There shouldn't be any issues there. If you are like headless or running different type of theme, different builder, you just want to make sure that, that you're covered there. Custom checkouts, Samcart, these kind of things tend to be okay as well, right? You should be fine. So really what this comes down to is that when your ads, your offers, and your emails hit, you must deliver on your product, right? Super, super important, but also deliver on your experience. Ensure your infrastructure can handle the increased traffic and order volume, and test all systems thoroughly before the peak season begins, right? This is so basic, but so many people do not do these test runs, right? Just test, make sure everything is good. Maybe other events throughout the year allowed you to stress test your operations a little bit in preparation for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. You just want to make sure that everything is operational. So an example is you can load test your website with expected traffic volumes. You can prepare customer support scripts for common BFCM questions. And you can also set up monitoring alerts for critical systems. You can use a lot of AI here to just make things faster and a better experience for the customer. So those are some examples as to how you could test this out. Real quick, we've got a 3-part Black Friday blueprint that fixes broken Facebook ads, broken offers, and broken email flows before Q4 starts. I'll show you exactly what's inside in a second, but first, here's how one client scaled from break-even to $925,000 in revenue in just 30 days. Now, as I promised at the beginning of the video, I want to go through a client case study breakdown and just give you the background on how all this stuff actually comes together and what the results are like. So this client is in the wellness industry, and we started at break-even on BFCM last year in 2024. Step one is we rebuild the offers into stacked phases, right? We did a little bit of stacking, a little bit of phasing. We lifted urgency and repeat buys by doing this. And by doing this, we increased urgency, but also we got a lot of repeat purchases from existing customers, which helped boost the revenue, but also the profit because the customer acquisition cost was lower for those existing customers. Step number two is we shifted the ad creatives on Facebook from talking about product features to core human desires and perfect gifts for the holidays. And the result of that is a CTR from our ads increased by 52%. And what that meant is that even though CPMs were higher, the cost of traffic was cheaper than previous months. Now, when you couple that with step three, which is all about adding urgency-driven landing pages, balance to the website, it increases conversion rate as well, right? And conversion rate didn't increase massively, but increased 13%, which is meaningful enough at this scale. And also when you combine the increase in conversion rate with the increase in CTR, and the lower cost of traffic, then your customer acquisition cost drops dramatically, right? Everything compounds. So what I'm trying to do here is show you guys that the Black Friday Cyber Monday is not just one thing, right? It's not even two things. It's about being able to pull multiple levers in your favor to lower the cost of acquisition, to increase profitability, and capture as much consumer demand as possible, right? This is a season really for scaling. Okay, but scaling profitably. And of course, the back end, the email flows, the campaigns, and the SMS sends captured 31% of November revenue, which, as a percentage of revenue from email is pretty normal. But what happens to a lot of brands is that they spend so much on ads and they get a lot more traffic and a lot more purchases that the actual revenue number, the percentage of revenue coming through email and SMS drops, right? It's actually lower than what they've seen throughout the rest of the year because they tend to leave email and SMS on the back burner. Maybe they didn't send enough campaigns. Maybe they didn't follow the same rules about those flows where you want to introduce the discount and the offer into the flows as well. So you just want to make sure you do that, okay? And that's going to allow you to drive a lot of revenue through email and SMS. The result of this is a brand that went from struggling profitability to doing $925,000 in November 2024 with profits intact. This shows you proof that that actually was the case. November 1st to 30th, 2024. Quick refresh on this dashboard and you can see $925,000 in revenue, 13% increase in conversion rate. Black Friday doesn't work because you slash prices and hope that your ads scale. It works when your offer strategy is on point, your Facebook ads hit those core desires, and your email and SMS system is printing money. When your offers create urgency, your ads connect to customer desires, and your email and SMS marketing monetizes traffic, you build a profit engine that keeps scaling year after year. Now, if you want help building a system that actually doubles your revenue this Black Friday, or you want to get your hands on the Black Friday blueprint that we use with every client, click the link below this video in the YouTube description. I'll show you what's broken, what's missing, and how you can scale your Black Friday into a record-breaking Q4.